one thing that I really like about an engine like this R43 is that you can drive it every day. You can drive it normally, like I'm on this little back road here, and you can just drive it like a normal car. It doesn't have to be driven hard. You can poke around at low RPM, like right now I'm at about 3,000. You know, I'm in 4th gear, just kind of poking around. And, I mean, it makes enough power, it makes plenty of torque to have instantaneous throttle response pretty much at any RPM point. And to me, having that nice average horsepower and torque output across the entire operating range of the engine, it makes things a lot more fun to drive. So here I'm just, you know, going to gear down a little bit. So it was fun. That was not full throttle, and it was only 3rd gear. So I went from, you know, basically about 55 to 90 miles an hour just that quick, and returned right back to 3,000 RPM, running 60 miles an hour effortlessly with no problems. And these engines will do this pretty much no matter what. You can drive it every day. You can drive it to and from the office. Your wife can drive it. It can be a grocery getter, or you can take it to the track. And something like this R43, it makes so much power that on the street you can't use it all. And like I tell a lot of my customers, you will either go to jail or you will kill yourself, and hopefully nobody else, before you will ever put this engine to its maximum potential on the street. Okay? And that to me is cool, because the engine is going to never really have a problem with living a life of success on the street or even on the track, because you're not having to work it very hard at all. And of course, you know, it handles really well, and this car is an 02996 C4S. You know, a C2 would be just the same, even a little bit more fun to drive, honestly. A little bit lighter, a little bit more nimble, a little bit lighter steering, all those sort of things. The C4S loves this because it loves the torque, it loves the, you know, just the character of this engine. So now I'm going to shift back to 3rd. And that was another little blast. And a characteristic of all our engines is having this very usable power band, and the engine being very dual purpose. You know, meaning you can drive it every day, anywhere you want to go, long trips, short trips, whatever. It'll maintain just like a stock engine would. Anybody can work on it. They can work on a Porsche engine. And you have all those benefits, okay, of the bigger power and enhanced reliability. So now I want to get on it a little bit. Up to about 125 miles an hour, something like that. And, you know, I still had a gear left, still had a few thousand RPM left there. But an engine like this, it just performs. It performs anywhere and everywhere. And, you know, even an engine like our R40, the 4-liter, it performs a lot like this. No, it doesn't make that, you know, radical power, and it doesn't have a lot of those attributes that a 4.3-liter engine would have, but it has the same characteristic as far as being able to be driven every day and being able to be taken to the track, and, you know, absolutely astonishing people who don't think that these engines can do what they do. And we've been very effective in proving what we can do with these engines, as you're seeing in this video here today. So now, This is where we break in all of the engines at. And of course, this is a test vehicle. This is not a customer's car. And I'm being chased by another Flat 6 Innovations powered Porsche behind me here, because we're coming up to get some video, obviously. And, you know, we bring the cars up on this road because there's no traffic. There's very few hazards. There's very little as far as things that could go wrong, because we don't have other people on the road. Especially on a day like today during the week. There's not a lot of traffic up here, and this is a great place for us to get these engines up to speed and have fun and test them without having a lot of problems with other traffic. So I'm just cruising along here, not beating on it at all. It's very nice, awesome, smooth power delivery. On the cam and heads at about 4,000 RPM. You can tell the engine changes its character completely between 3,000 and 4,000, especially at the higher throttle positions. You'll actually hear the cam and heads really start to come in, and you'll feel the torque increase a lot. This engine, the R43, actually picks up about 80 horsepower in less than 1,000 RPM, between about 3,600 and about 4,500 RPM. So 80 horsepower and about 120 foot-pounds of torque is being produced in that narrow power band. Now, of course, you notice that because I kind of want you to notice it in this video, but on the track, you never notice it. So right there, just before I had to get on the brakes a little bit, it started to come into the power band. But it's got so much torque everywhere else, you never lose that. So I don't want you to watch this and think, oh, you know, I gotta beat this thing all the time to get power. No, it's not that way. A lot of times I'm driving this car in the video with about this much throttle. That's about all I'm giving it. So right there, you can hear it come on. I went from about 3,700 up to about $5,000 right there. Notice I'm staying in one gear. I've got so much torque that I don't have to bang up and down through the gearbox. This thing is such an animal, I'm just able to drive it easily. Right there you hear the change in the exhaust note and the intake note. That was that point where the cam and the cylinder heads that we've developed really comes on strong. This is the funnest thing you'll ever purchase. And I tell people all the time, you know, they want a t-shirt or they want a hat or something. And I'm like, you see what you got in the back? It's got 27 years of my life in it at the present. And that's all you need to impress your friends. But it's not really about your friends, it's about what you like. And if you like power on demand, if you like torque, if you want something that's going to live, something that's going to last, and something that was built by one pair of hands, then you want what we create at Flat 6 Innovations. have to make a bad decision at some point and buy something from the wrong person to believe what I've said. But today, about a third of our work comes from people that have already been there and done that, and they didn't do that as well as they could have done that. And because of that, you get to do that again. Alright, so I'm just short shifting. That's not even 5,000 RPM. Just the power delivery, the way the power is made. You know, I don't give a damn about a dyno graph. I don't care anything at all about a big peak horsepower number. Even though the engine in this car is making 460 horsepower, I don't care about that one big number. What I care about is all the numbers below that, because those are what makes a very impressive average power output that I look for as a designer and developer of engines and combinations. And all of that power down low that helps me make those really big power averages, that is what you purchase when you buy an engine from Flat 6. And that is what we learn over all these years of practical application, design, development, and basically proving what we build. So I'm just about to the point here where we're going to pull off and shoot a little bit of video about